Hey guys, so over the last 3 days, I have seen three of the new movies that have came out over the last couple weeks. I have been catching up slowly but surely on these movies. I still got two more to go. I still got Isle of Dogs and what is it? Isle of Dogs and Rampage to go see, but I now have a little bit more time on my hands now that the family that was from North Carolina is gone. I've got a little bit more time on my hands. But also I still have to work and shit. But like when I have some free time, I try to go to the movies. And first movie I saw a couple days ago was Chappaquiddick, the movie about the Ted Kennedy Chappaquiddick incident that happened in 1969. This is a movie that I got a trailer for like one time in front of. I remember what movie I got in front of. It was Hostiles, because this movie is produced by the same production company. They're called Entertainment Studios. That's a very fucking original name. They are the company that made 47 Meters Down, Hostiles, and now this. And this was one of those trailers I got. I was like, oh, that's probably something I'm probably not going to get. When it comes out in the theaters, Regal's probably not going to get it. But to my surprise, it did. It looked like one of those movies that was just like an indie movie that wasn't going to be a big hit, so Regal wasn't going to get it. But to my surprise, like I said, we got it. And I'm like, okay. And I was hearing pretty good things about it. Like I said, the trailers look pretty good, and like it was a story I didn't really know much about because I was born in '88 and this happened in '69, so I didn't know much about it, and I was kind of curious as to what the story behind it was, and yeah, I liked this movie. It was a pretty good, interesting film, even though I was pretty tired when I saw this. And I kind of started to drift off a little bit towards the end. It still was actually interesting. I don't blame the movie, because it's just, even when I see good movies, and I'm really fucking tired, I have a problem staying awake. It's a bad idea to usually go see a movie when you're really fucking tired, but I do a lot, seems like, anymore, because that's usually after work. That's when I have my free time. But this is a pretty good movie. It's an interesting story that like I said, I didn't know much about going in. Like a lot of people know who Ted Kennedy is. I never heard of this fucking story. Apparently, it's one of the things he's most famous for, and I'm like, I just knew him as like this really famous senator, one of the Kennedys, yada yada yada. I forgot he was like the youngest, or the youngest son of the the last living son of the Kennedys, and I was like, man, this is a crazy story. Jason Clarke is really good as Ted Kennedy. I'll give him fucking credit. He's a guy who's kind of a tortured soul in this movie. He plays him as a tortured soul because this movie shows it starts off when Ted Kennedy is trying to thinking about running for president while he's in the Senate, and he is kind of being pressured by his family, his colleagues, everybody, to go run for president, and even his constituents and everything else like that. He was like, a pretty popular guy, to the point that a lot of people really wanted to vote for him into office. He wanted to follow in his family's footsteps, like his brothers Bobby and JFK, except for the part of them getting assassinated, obviously. That's a horrible joke, I'm sorry. But he is kind of feeling pressured into, you could kind of tell, like, into trying to become president like his brothers, and he is trying to carry on a legacy, like a strong legacy, like his brothers, of this really popular or very powerful family like the Kennedys were, and he then has a little incident you don't know about. If you don't know, he accidentally killed a girl while driving drunk, and drove it off by driving his car off a bridge, and he didn't call the cops until like 10 hours later. And because of that, the girl ended up suffocating. She didn't drown, she suffocated because it was like a little small pond where she could have survived if somebody would have got her in time. And he walked away from the incident, or walked away from the scene of the crime without telling anybody until 10 hours later, or at least telling the cops 10 hours later. And it's a whole movie revolving around what happens afterwards. And like I said, he is a guy, like I said, he's kind of a tortured soul where he's dealing with all this pressure with his family and trying to live up to the name of the last name of Kennedy, and trying to live on the legacy of his brothers and everybody else that's been involved with his family. And he's also dealing with this terrible tragedy that happens that is his fucking fault. It is, at the end of the day, it's his fucking fault. Even though some people try to say that he still denies that he was drunk. This movie just flat out says he was drunk driving. I don't know all the fucking facts about this movie, or about the story. I think a lot of this is a lot of kind of guessing. From what I was could tell, a lot of this was guessing of what really happened behind the scenes. Like, basically, it's like a big ass cover up for afterwards, trying to cover up what really did happen and trying to spin it so that he is still a beloved figure in the public, which he still was till the day he died. So, but if some of this movie is fucking true, he is kind of a terrible person for what he did, because he did, at the end of the day, he, like I said, left the scene of a crime, pretty much killed a girl when she could have been easily saved if he would have just called the cops. It's like one of those things, it's like there are certain facts, like I said, him leaving the scene of the crime is very well known, and him not calling or informing the police till 10 hours later is well known, but the rest of it is kind of like trying to fill in the blanks of what maybe happened here or there, and it's kind of fascinating. It is fascinating, kind of a movie about, you also get, like I said, you got Ed Helms. It's fucking in this movie. First serious role I've ever seen him in, and it's like, he's not bad. It's like he's not bad at all in this movie. As his who's basically his Ted Kennedy's adopted cousin, I guess. His family adopted him, or the Kennedys adopted him. He becomes a lawyer for Ted Kennedy. And also, who was the other guy, the other comedian that was in this too? I'm forgetting his name for some reason. I know it's going to come to me as soon as I see it. Jim Gaffigan, there you go. Is also one of his consultants in a very serious role. And it's like, wow, you get Ed Helms, Jim Gaffigan. I'm like, what the hell? You also have Kate Mara plays the girl that ends up getting killed, and she's the short scene she's in she's really good because she's Kate Mara, because she was a former aide or a political advisor for Bobby Kennedy, who is pretty much retired, and Ted is basically at the beginning of the movie trying to recruit her to be a part of his presidential campaign. But he ends up accidentally killing her because he was an idiot and reckless through drunk driving. Who else was in this movie? Oh, Bruce Dern is in this movie too as the elder of Kennedy. I don't know what his name was. Somebody in the comments can tell me. I don't know all the family lineage of fucking the Kennedys. But yeah, he's a mute because I think he's old, really fucking old in this movie. He has a couple lines in the movie, and he's like, you know, pretty much scolding his son, even though he's not saying much. Like just scolding his son for the looks he's given him. Ted Kennedy's scolding him for the looks he's given him, and he basically is hiring people, the best like political advisors he knows to help get Ted out of the situation and shit like that. Like I said, yeah, Bruce Dern. Of course, Bruce Dern's a pretty damn good, even though he doesn't say much in this fucking movie. Like I said, this is a good movie. Like I said, I don't really have much other to say about this movie. It's a good movie. I'd check it out. It's a decent, like it's an interesting story. If you're like me, who never knew the story, I would love to see it. I know there's probably documentaries out there about this. I would love to hear like what a little bit more of how much factual this movie is and what isn't. As I'm sure Hollywood made shit up as it went. Because this is based off a true story, so I mean they love to make their own shit as it goes. Yeah, like I said, it's an interesting movie, interesting story. I recommend it. Yeah. That's as far as Chappaquiddick goes. Trailers. I got a weird assortment of trailers in front of this fucking movie. Weird amount. Like, the trailers I got in front of us is like, what the hell? Like, they didn't know what to put in front of this, so they just threw whatever the fuck they thought would stick. But I still got some good trailers. I got a trailer for Won't You Be My Neighbor, which I'm really looking forward to, and I'm hoping that my theater gets, because this is about a local legend. Won't You Be My Neighbor, if you don't know, is the documentary that's coming out about Fred Rogers, or the guy who was responsible for Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. It looks really fucking good. It looks like, if there's anybody out there who can make a great documentary about, like, it'd be about Fred Rogers. He was like one of the kindest people you'd ever fucking meet. From, like, I don't think there's a bad thing that I don't think anybody out there could say a bad thing about him except Fox News, who try to say he was brainwashing our kids, but fuck Fox News. They're fake news anyways. Yeah, like I said, like, I really want to see this movie. I live about an hour and a half from Pittsburgh, and so I would think my movie theater would get it because he is pretty famous, around this area. I mean, like, I used to fly to the Pittsburgh airport, fly out of the Pittsburgh airport. They had like this big ass shrine to Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood because he started off in Pittsburgh, a local station in Pittsburgh. So that's really fucking awesome. So, yeah, I really want to see it. It looks really fucking good, really touching. Like, just how really genuinely a great human being he was. It's basically what the documentary is. So, like, which I'm fine about. Like, might give us an uplifting message about being kind to one another. I'm like, fuck yeah, I like, whatever. In the world we live in, that sounds like a pretty damn good movie. And then I had the trailer for Christopher Robin. This is a weird fucking idea for a movie. If you don't know what this is, it's okay. Ewan McGregor plays a grown-up version of Christopher Robin, who's an executive at a big-ass company, and he's like, his life is in shambles, and Winnie the Pooh comes to him while it comes to a grown-up Christopher Robin, and tries to give him advice, I guess. Life advice, I guess. And it's a CGI live-action Winnie the Pooh, and I remember I hadn't seen this trailer yet until now, and I remember people telling me how terrifying the bear looks. And it doesn't look as bad as some people were telling me, but still, it's like, it is a little jarring, but I've seen a hell lot worse than that thing. I love that the original voice actor who voiced Winnie the Pooh is doing the voice for Winnie the Pooh, so that's a big props. I don't know if he's doing Tigger or not. I don't think he is doing Tigger, but he is definitely doing Winnie the Pooh. So that's awesome. So that's a thumbs up for me right there. But I don't know about this concept. It's like, well, at least you're trying to do something new with it, I guess. So there's that. Yeah, it's Disney doing this. I don't know. Yeah, that's as far as trailers go. I got 2 more reviews to go through, so I'll talk to you guys later.